Look at where it is, folks. Higher than ever, even displaying a ticking debt clock at their events. Brad Woodhouse is the Democratic National Committee's communications director, and Sean Spicer is the Republican National Committee's communications director. Welcome to both of you.
Thanks, Jamie.
Let me start with you, if I can, Brad, and ask you, the president says his campaign slogan is forward. Can you go forward in terms of the campaign speeches you'll make and stick with what you've done so far that many Americans believe hasn't worked where the economy is concerned, or do you admit that you need a different plan?
Well, not at all in terms of the message. I mean, if you look at the polls, the president is now ahead of Mitt Romney in the polls as it relates to who can handle the economy and who would be better for the middle class. And I think that's because the American people understand where we were. 4 years ago this past Saturday, Lehman fell and the stock market went through the floor. We're not facing those times now. Times are better than they were then. We're not where we need to be. But the president has a plan. He has a plan that he laid out at the convention. He has a jobs plan that Republicans in Congress like Paul Ryan have refused to pass that would create 1 million jobs right now. So I think we're heading in the right direction, and we'll lay out that choice for the American people. And as we get closer to the election, they're tuning in, and that's why the president is well ahead in the polls and well ahead on the issue of the economy in many polls.
Tell me the number that you think is well ahead.
Well, I mean, he's got a 12-point lead as it relates to dealing with Medicare, which is of course an important economic issue.
On the economy.
Well, he's had a lead. 4 polls came out last week, and I can't recite every number, but 4 polls came out last week. All of them new national tracking polls that showed him ahead of Mitt Romney on the economy.
Beyond the margin of error? You said big.
That's just not accurate.
Go ahead.
Well, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Today.
4 national polls have him ahead on the issue of the economy.
But I want to give people accurate. You said wide margin, and if it's within the margin of error, there's no margin at all. It's a dead heat. So go ahead, Sean.
Right. Jamie, I just wanted to back up a second. 4 years ago, this president came to us and said, I'm going to get the deficit cut in half. We went from a $10 trillion deficit to now $16 trillion. He said if he didn't have this economy going by the end of his first term, it would be a one-term proposition. We're here to collect. All Brad's saying is a bunch of excuses. The fact is 23 million Americans are unemployed. We've added $6 trillion to the national debt, and he hasn't gotten tough on China. The magic number, Jamie, that I look at, Brad, I let you talk.
23 million
just hold on.
people are not unemployed,
the magic number
Sean.
that matters right now, Jamie, the president has not gotten tough on China. This president hasn't led.
We just filed a WTO case against China
and hasn't
today,
implemented an energy policy.
But it happens the president is talking about China today.
But
the important thing is getting people back to work, Sean. What is the be-all, end-all top unemployment rate that the American public will tolerate? Because it's over 8%, and we know historically that's too tough for an incumbent to win.
Jamie, here's the problem when it comes to China. For 4 years, this president has talked tough on China. Here we are in the 4th year of his administration, and he's finally filing a case. But here's the biggest thing. When it comes to small business, the biggest problem that small businesses have is China manipulates its currency, putting U.S. businesses at a disadvantage. And 7 times, this administration has said no when it comes to whether or not to certify China as a currency manipulator. So there's no way that the president can now talk about being tough on China. For 4 years, he's talked tough and done nothing.
Let me jump to Brad. Brad, do you believe with the unemployment rate, hang on, Brad, 1 sec, I'll let you answer your point too, but at 8.1%, do you believe that the American people will vote for President Obama? You say it's not 23 million. I bet you it's even more people who have given up. Or working under their normal pay scale.
Look, it's not 23 million that are unemployed, but you hear us say every day we're not satisfied with where the economy is. Jamie, for 2 years, Republicans have refused to work with us on creating jobs. But let me talk about China for a minute. Mitt Romney should really, this is an interesting place for him to go. He invested in China as a person. He invested in China through Bain Capital. He invested in sweatshops there, and he outsourced jobs to China. I mean, if you're concerned about,
you don't want to talk about what the president.
Hang on, Sean, we're going to get to you.
If you're concerned about China and the economy, Mitt Romney's the last person to vote for.
But when you look at that debt ceiling clock, you have to admit, Brad, when you look at that debt ceiling clock and you think about how much China controls our economy, I mean, I wanted to ask you about people getting back to work. This is not a good thing. This is not a good thing. Banks are not lending. Small businesses aren't getting the money that they need, and the unemployment rate is stuck at over 8%, which the president did say, correct me if I'm wrong, Sean, wouldn't happen. And you're very close to the election now. So what is the number?
Nothing that he said would happen.
What is the number that you think the president can withstand and win? Over 8?
Well, look. Right now, the number is what the number is, and he is winning. But we're not satisfied at all. I mean, we want to see the unemployment rate drop. We've been working on that. It has dropped from a high of 10% to 8%, 8.1%. We've created 4.6 million jobs in the past 30 months. We lost 4.5 million jobs in the last year of the Bush administration. Clearly, we are better off.
Last point, Sean, let me ask you to jump in. Mitt Romney has said in campaign speeches 12 million jobs will be created. What is the plan? How can you reassure the American people that those jobs and maybe even more might be created? How?
Well, the first thing you got to do is look at a track record. The president made a lot of promises. He hasn't followed through on any of them. And you look at Mitt Romney's past, he has made promises and he's followed through on them. Second, when it comes to Mitt Romney, he's not going to wait 4 years to get tough on China. He's going to take them on head on day one. He's going to create all of the above energy policy that will create jobs. No, I am. He's going to repeal regulations that inhibit small business.
Brad, Sean is answering how those jobs will be created, and you brought up China.
Actually, here's the funny thing, Jamie.
Go ahead and respond, please.
The key funny thing is, when you ask me a question about what Mitt Romney's going to do, I can talk to you about Mitt Romney's plan. When you ask Brad a question about Barack Obama, it's excuses, blame, and everything but an answer, because they cannot answer the question about their promises from 2008.
A heated and fair and balanced debate we appreciate. We are out of time. But thanks to both of you for being here. Good to see you both. Brad and Sean, thank you.